Good day and welcome to One-on-One Maths Private Tutors. Today we are looking at function notation for O-level mathematics and IGCSE. Now, the function notation is another way of writing a function. If we have y is equal to 2x minus 3, to get y, we have to have an x value. So y is depending on the value of x. So we can say y is a function of x. What does that mean? It means in order to get y, we have to do something to x. A function has to be applied, which is multiplying x by 2, then subtracting 3. So we can say function of x is equal to 2x minus 3. So this notation is a shorthand expression of this when we are doing calculations, as we will see. Now we have done set notation. So function notation is another way of expressing functions. So this we can write it down as function such that x is mapped to 2x minus 3. That is the whole notation, but in shorthand, we usually write it like this. When we are plotting graphs in this way, we usually say when x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2 times 2 minus 3. When x is equal to 4, y is equal to 2 times 4 minus 3. Then we get our answers, which we will use in our table of values. But the function notation gives us a shortened way of doing it. Instead of saying when x is equal to 2, we just say function of 2 is equal to 2 times 2 minus 3. So instead of doing all this, we just take it in one step. Instead of saying when x is equal to 4, we just say function of 4 is equal to 2 times 4 minus 3. Then we get our answers. So the function notation gives us a shorthand way of expressing functions. Even when we are drawing graphs, we usually say y, x. Then we plot our coordinates, then we join them. Then we have our straight line graph. We can also plot the graph as function of x, because remember, y is the function of x. In order to get y, we have to substitute x values and get y. So we can have function of x on the y-axis and x, and we plot our points, then we join them. So the function notation is a fancy way of expressing functions. Instead of saying y is equal to 3x squared plus 2x plus 1, we can say f of x is equal to 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. So when you see the function notation, just know it is another way of expressing a function. So we can see here f of 5 means the value of the function f when x is equal to 5. Let's look at the question. You are given that f such that x is drawn to 3x minus 2. So this simply means y is equal to 3x minus 2. And in function notation, it means function of x is equal to 3x minus 2. Find the value of f of 6. Whenever we see x, we substitute with 6. So f of 6, or function of 6, is 3 times 6 minus 2, which is 3 times 4, which is 12. So this question is just saying, what is the value of y when x is 6? Substitute 6 there. Solve the equation f of x is equal to 6. So our f of x is this. So f of x is equal to 6. So we can say this is equal to 6. So 3 bracket x minus 2 is equal to 6. So we solve this equation. First, let's break the brackets by multiplying 3 by each term in the brackets. Now we can say 3x is equal to, if we take minus 6 to that side, it becomes positive. So we have that, which is, so we have 3x is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 3. Then we have x is equal to 4. Find and simplify an expression for f of x plus 4. So whenever we see x, we should put x plus 4. So f of x plus 4 is equal to, so we go to this, we have replaced x with x plus 4 there. So here we should also replace x with x plus 4. 3 bracket x plus 4 minus 2, which is equal to 3x plus 4 minus 2, which is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. So x plus 2. Now we break the bracket. 3x plus 3 times 2, 6. That is our expression. Okay, let's look at another example. Now, functions can come with any letter. We can have h of x, g of x, b of x, but the concept is still the same. So when h of x is equal to x plus 6 over x, find h of 3. H of 3 is equal to, whenever we see x, we are replacing with 3. So there we should put 3, there we should put 3. 3 plus 6 over 3, which will give us 9 over 3, which is 3. So h of 3 is 3. H of minus 4. Whenever we see x, we should put minus 4. So h of minus 4 is minus 4 plus 6 over minus 4, which will be minus 4 plus 6 is 2 over minus 4, which will simplify to minus a half. H of half. Whenever we see x, we should replace with a half. So this will be equal to a half plus 6 over a half, which you can use a calculator. First, we need fraction. Then in that fraction, we need another fraction. So we have 1 over 2. Then we go to the right, plus 6 over another fraction there, 1 over 2, which is 13. Oh, if we are asked not to use a calculator, we could say over 2. 6 is the same as 6 over 1. 2 into 2, 1. 1 times 1, 1. Plus 1 into 2, 2. 2 times 6, 12. So this is our numerator. Then dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So it's multiplied by 2 over 1. So we can simplify here and say 12 plus 1 is 13 over 2 times 2 over 1. 2 and 2 cancel out, and we have 13, which is the same as our calculator result. Now let's go to the concept of inverse of a function. A function is written as f of x. The inverse function is f to the power minus 1 of x. If we have a function g of x, the inverse of this function is g to the power minus 1 of x. Now, what is the inverse of a function? When you have a function, let's say f of x is equal to x minus 2. This can be expressed as y is equal to x minus 2. The inverse is interchanging x for y. We can switch these values and say x is equal to y minus 2 when we are looking for the inverse. Look what we have just done. We have just taken y and put it in the position of x and x in the position of 1. Now what we need to do is to rearrange this and make y the subject of the formula. How do we do that? By adding 2 to both sides, so that this cancels out and we have y is equal to x plus 2. Now what we get now is the inverse. So we can say f to the minus 1 of x is equal to x plus 2. So the important step to change function to its inverse is to just switch the x and y values. Y becomes x and x becomes y. So let's look at an example. We have f of x is equal to 3x minus 5. So this can be written as y is equal to 3x minus 5. Now to find the inverse, we just switch x and y. Now we can say x is equal to 3y minus 5. Now we rearrange so that y becomes the subject of the formula. We add 5 to both sides, add 5. So we have 3y is equal to x plus 5. And then we divide by 3 on both sides. Our y becomes x plus 5 over 3. Now that is our inverse. So f to the power minus 1 of x, which is the inverse of x, is equal to x plus 5 over 3. That is our answer for A. Now f to the minus 1 of 7. We are simply replacing x in our inverse function with 7, which is 7 plus 5 over 3, which is 12 over 3, which is 4. So that is our answer. Now let's look at this example. When g of x is equal to 6 minus 2x, find g to the minus 1 of x. So we can say y is equal to 6 minus 2x. We interchange x and y. X is equal to 6 minus 2y. We make y the subject of the formula. If we take this 2y to the other side, it becomes positive. So we have 2y, and take this x that side, becomes negative 6 minus x. Then we divide both sides by 2, which means we are dividing each term by 2. Y is equal to 6 over 2 is 3 minus x over 2. So that is our inverse. Remember, we are using g, so we would say g to the minus 1 of x is equal to 3 minus x over 2. Use g to the minus 1 of x to find g to the minus 1 of 4. Okay, so we want g to the minus 1 of 4. So what are we saying? Whenever we see x, we will put 4 in the right-hand side, which is 3 minus 4 of 2, which is 3 minus 2, which is 1. Use g to the minus 1 of x to find g to the minus 1 of 4 and check your working by substituting your answer into g of x. Now our answer here is 1. G of 1 is equal to, so we are using this, is equal to 6 minus 2 times 1, which is 6 minus 2, which is 4. So we are saying the inverse of a function is the function that maps all values of f of x back to their original values of x. So if we have our inverse and we put it in our function, we should get the original x value. Okay, let's do it once again for the previous example. We have our inverse f to the minus 1 of 7 being 4. So if we take this 4 and put it into f of x, we should get 7. So f of 4 is equal to 3 times 4 minus 5, which is 12 minus 5, which will give us 7, which is this 7. That is what is meant by the statement, the inverse of a function is the function that maps all the values of f of x back to their original x values. So this is the inverse. If we put it in our original function, it will map us back to the original x value. So in short, we are saying if we apply a function and then reverse it on x, then we will have original x value. So we are applying a function and then we are reversing it. All we have done is to move back to the original x. Thank you.